everyone, and welcome to this video tutorial for Ed Tech Guides. This tutorial is going to go over a really nice platform called Go Formative. As you might guess from the title, Go Formative is all about formative assessments. So let's get started. This is the homepage for Go Formative after you log in and create your account. To create your account, you would just go to goformative.com and choose how you'd want to log into the account. So as you can see, it's a very user-friendly screen. There's not a lot of complicated features. Everything is fairly self-explanatory. So let's start with actually creating a formative and see what that looks like. So you can see here in my body here that I have actually two formatives that I've already been working on and a folder for another set of formatives. But in this case, I'm going to create an entirely new formative just to go through the process. So the very first thing you should do is name your formative. So let's say this is for a science class, so we're just going to name it Science Cells. So maybe we're going to ask the students something about animal cells, plant cells, and if they know the difference between the two. So to begin adding to the formative, you simply click the plus button. And then you can see you can add a few different options. So you can add content, and what that does is actually add something for the students to remark on. So if you wanted the students to kind of do the formative assessment before they come to class in a flipped classroom model, you can maybe put in there a video or a whiteboard showing animations of cells, and then add some questions after that. If you had a PDF or a document that you wanted the students to comment on, you can actually upload it here and students can comment directly on that PDF. And then here's the add question, so that's where you would actually be adding formative questions to this particular assessment that you're going to give to the students. And over here the advanced questions, those are for if you have a premium account, which we'll go over at the end of the video. I will say that Formative allows a lot of features without the premium account, so they really cater to teachers specifically and understand the value of their tool. So let's just start with, the basics. So we'll start with true, false. So our question here for true or false could be, all animal cells have a cell wall, which we know is false. So we would choose the answer as being false, and then the key right here, the key icon, shows that that's your answer key. So as you're creating the question, you can actually tag a standard. So this is really nice because it tags directly to various standards that you would be interested in tagging to. And the standards that are up here right now are the standards that I had up previously for making a history formative, but you can change your standards to be science, and then it would show up as NGSS or your state standards for science. So here the question is worth 1 point. This icon allows you to duplicate the same question, and this one allows you to delete it. So a duplication of question doesn't mean you can't change it. If we just scroll down a little bit, you can see there that even though it's duplicated, you can change everything. You can change the type of question, you can change the question response, you can change the answer. So that's how you add a basic question to a formative. So to add a content, you would just choose one of the tools. So let's say we want to add a whiteboard here. We want to edit the whiteboard. So Formative actually gives you some really features in here to really just create a quick drawing to assess the student's understanding that way. So we have the pencil highlighted here, so we can create, a typical plant cell and then a typical animal cell. And then we can put some features in here that kind of differentiate between the two, and then have students use this in their formative, so we can say we're done with the drawing. So then from there, right, you can add questions after that whiteboard, saying things such as, where's the nucleus in the animal cell. And then you can describe the different areas to the students. And then that question is automatically saved as you scroll down and make your formative. So let's say that we're done with our formative. There's a few things you can do. Number one is you can preview what you've done. So right there, you see your preview, you see your drawing, and your question after the drawing. So Formative always creates things in a linear scrolling format to make it easy for you and for the students to know how the assessment's going to go. You can go back to editing, and then you can also view responses that the students have submitted. Now you can see here, nobody submitted this because I just created it, but that's where the student responses would be. So you can either assign the formative directly from this page, or you can go back to your home page. So when you assign it directly from this page, you can see here that I have a few classes already added to my formative. If you choose to assign it to guest students, what that does is it auto-generates a code, so students don't actually need a formative account to respond to it. But if this is a tool you're going to be using with any regularity, then you should create your own accounts and classes in here. Right. So I'm going to assign it to my Python class just because I have that in there. And you can see here now that it's live for this class, and you can view the responses, and there's 3 different ways you can share it. Because this is a class from Google Classroom, you can post to Google Classroom when you're assigning. You can also go back to the home page, which is what we're going to do. So you can see here that these 2 formatives are both live. And up here is your class icon. So I have chosen history to be a HS for the shorthand, and a green circle, Python to be PY with a black circle. And here would be your guest access. So now these are the formatives that I have in my profile. So the folders allow you to sort by class if you teach certain classes. So that is the gist of making a formative. So now we're going to go into the classes. So you can add a new class directly in Formative, or you can import from Google Classroom, which I know is very popular with teachers now. So it might be a really good option if you choose to use Google Classroom. It automatically imports all of that necessary information into this tool and prevents you from having to manually create your classes. So if we choose new class, you choose your class name, your abbreviation, and your color. And that's what shows up when you look at the quick learning analytics guide that was on that first page we just looked at. So let's say we want to create an English class. So we just do ENGLISH and then EN. We want it to be blue, and we just update that class. So now here we have an English class. So we can choose to add students, and these are the 3 options you get. So students already have their accounts, they need a new account, or they will create their own account. So creating their own account is very simple if you wanted to go that route, but clearly the most seamless is to use a Google account. So if you wanted to import from Google Classroom, it would just choose to sign in. And then you would see there that you're able to import directly from Google Classroom as well. This class doesn't have any students in it, which is why I didn't import that way. But if you had a real class in there, it would. So the final feature of Formative that I want to show you is this tracker feature. So this is just a mock-up that the Formative company has put in here. But you can see here that it's a class, you have your students in the class, you have the standards lined up, you have a formative created for each standard, and then it allows you to almost have a very nice learning analytics tool where you can see the students' scores. You're able to give feedback to their scores, and you can see students that are struggling, maybe on the bubble of struggling, and you can actually click students directly and you create this alert showing one student's work on that standard because they've had a problem with that standard in the past. So that whole feature is available whenever you tag your formative. So if we go back into the science cells, over here you can choose assignment type. And these are all the different options that you can do to tag your formative. So all of these tagging features and the standards features, they really help to organize the analytics tool for you. So over here, there's a help feature, there's your profile, and there is the alert feature. So if you have a new alert or a new message, it will show up here. This quick code happens whenever you are assigning a formative to a guest student, or you don't want your students to create an account, and you'll get that quick code. That's what students enter there. And 20 students can enter the same quick code. It just corresponds to one formative. So that is the gist of how you make a formative. It's pretty easy and really helpful for you and for students to have a more robust platform for formative assessments. I know we focus really heavily on summative assessments, and rightly so, but formative assessments can be really, really enlightening as to what students understand in the moment and where students need more instruction and what students might need some more instruction. So thanks for watching this tutorial.